It says I'm live. Oh, right. So this is the very first one that I've never done a YouTube live. I've done lots of Facebook lives. So this is different. So, hello. My name is Asa Leveaux. This is Black and Queer. That I am black and queer. It is currently after midnight here in Oklahoma City. And let's just get certain things out of the way. Why in the whole hell would I do this to myself? Why would I go live on YouTube to basically no one? There's no one here. I don't have any friends on YouTube, nor I don't have any followers for this type of thing. So right now, no one's watching this. Zero people. Zero. And that's still okay. Because one day, this may help someone. That's why I'm doing this, because it may help someone. All right. So, that is the reason why I'm doing this, Black and Queer, to talk about what it's like being black and queer in no particular agenda. I have a lot to say about a lot of different things and don't currently have an outlet to have all that come out. So, that's what this is for. Another thing that this is for is I am imagining someone 14, 17, hell, 77 that is not comfortable in whatever truth looks like for them, and having that known to the people in their life. And they may need to know that it's possible and what to look forward to, or just to know that they're not alone in this world. That's my intent with this. Another, like I said, this is totally unscripted. This is not me putting on airs. This is not me being polished and professional. This is Asa talking. That's it. And then there's a fan that just turns on. Okay. So, another reason that I'm doing this is I'm also writing a book. I've written books before, and I'm writing another one. And the book is the same title, Black and Queer. And I'm writing about a lot of different things. So let's kick off with something that I had to do in my life just yesterday. Yesterday, I didn't have to, but I did. I informed a very good friend of mine. We've been best friends for 17 years. Uh, Met each other at our high schools were in the same district, and we went to college together in Oklahoma, and then been friends ever since. Like just best friends, and nothing transpired. No, like we just been best friends. Well, I had information on yesterday that someone he's having sex with. By the way, this is okay. Time out. This is not gonna be very G rated. This is Asa. Yeah, this is Asa. Some of you, if you don't know me, get ready to find out. So somebody he was fucking before found out that this person has HIV. I don't know if the HIV has moved on to AIDS, but he has HIV. And I found out. I did not verify anything because I'm not a doctor. I don't work for the health department, so I'm not going to verify anything. But I told my friend, I let him know that, hey, just want to let you know this is a thing. Like the person you screwed before has HIV. And he didn't know. He had no idea that he had HIV. And it was so Not humbling, because I don't use that word. I don't like the word. It doesn't bring me joy. It was a reality check that people really are still getting infected with so much out there in the world about that virus. People are still getting infected, and people are still getting infected and not telling people about it. Yeah, I don't know how much, because like I said, I'm queer, um, aka free. If you want to label me, I like the word queer. It it does what it needs to do, but I also enjoy being labeled free. So those are my those are my sexuality titles. So I don't know if people that are not queer have to deal with that, like straight people. I don't know if they have to deal with that as often. So yeah, that's one thing. And then it looks like, no, it doesn't fucking look like. I did it again. What do I mean by that? Well, app life came back. App life came back. What does that mean? What does it mean when I say app life came back? It means that for the longest time, I have not been on any dating apps. And they're back. Yeah, there is definitely a quote unquote love hate relationship between myself and dating apps. So on the one hand, you get like the possibility of meeting some very cool people, like some very solid people. And then on the other side of that, you get reminded that it can be sucky. It can be really sucky. And sucky sometimes looks like something I saw today. And it said, I don't do blacks. I'm not racist. I'm just not into them. Yeah, them. Like all of us. All of us. Like I said, all of us. Um, it doesn't really mean that much to me, that particular one, because I've been with that particular one, so I don't know what he meant by that, but it already happened. And so you might be asking, well, if you've been with him, what are you gonna, what are you gonna do? What did you say when you saw that? I messaged him. I was like, so did I turn you off to all black guys? And he's like, well, no, not at all. It's just that some. I said, oh, some. And that was it. I didn't feel the desire to engage any longer. So it just was what it was. Yeah, just was what it was. Um, so being black and queer, let's say, the fact that this is even a thing, I told, I'll say one of my parents, I told one of my parents that I was going to do this. And the moment I told them, that feeling felt like I was coming out again. Yeah, that feeling felt like I was coming out all over again. It's kind of like you should keep this, even though people know and people like, I post publicly. I make public Facebook, public Instagram um, post about the fact that I'm queer or free. And still, when I said that I was going to create a video journal of sorts about being black and queer, it just, my heart sunk a little about from the energy that it was received with. It didn't feel amazing. It didn't. No, it didn't feel amazing. I will say that I often feel like I am forever coming out. Yeah, I am forever coming out. Coming out as queer, coming out as someone who doesn't identify with the traditional Christian church tradition. Yeah, especially the black Christian church tradition. All of that is real. Yeah. And then people hear about it and people are like, so I have a question for you. I'm like, well, what? Like, well, I heard this. I'm like, well, yeah. Like, how does that work? I'm like, well, I make men and women make the same sound when I touch them. What do you mean, how does it work? It just works. I'm not struggling with it. I do it quite well, actually. I do. I do this quite well. I'm not struggling with this. This is not an addiction. it's a it's me. I'm not struggling with me. But even as I say that, I'm thinking about people that it may be a struggle just to be them. And when I think about that, it is is it sad? I don't know if it's sad. I think it's one way to live. And then someone else may say, "Well, that's not really living." Well, you don't get to say that for someone. Everyone has their go through. I had mine. I'm sure there's something else that I'll go through. Yeah, so I don't really know about that. I say that often. I don't. I feel comfortable saying that there are things that I don't know, and there are also things I don't care to know. There are, and I'm fine with that. I'm 35 years old. Yes, I'm 35 years old, and that's okay. It's totally okay. I I still feel like talking. I don't know if anybody's gonna get to this point in the video of actually still watching me, but since I still feel like talking, and I'm talking about what it's like being black and queer, I'm interested in saying what it was like to come out. Yeah, okay, here we go. Like I said, yes, so I do speak well. I'm even a speaker. Like, people pay me money to speak. And no, this is not that. This is so not that. I'm going against everything I teach my clients about speaking in these moments, and that's okay. It's okay. So here we go. What was it like when Asa came out? Okay. It came out in stages. First off, let's talk about the fact that I didn't identify with this. Even though I feel like I was born this way, I did not. No, I was so Christian that the possibility just wasn't possible. Like, it wasn't possible. It would be like if somebody was to sit down when I was 11 or 13 or 17 and say, Asa, are you gay? Asa, are you queer? Asa, are you bi? I'd be like, no. I didn't give it much thought because it was something that just wasn't available to me. For me to even be that, to me to even consider that for more than a millisecond was not available. It's like if someone from a different country right now comes to me and says, Asa, do you like this particular food? I'm like, no. Like, it's not available to me. I've never had it. I don't know what that is. Especially like if from a culture and that particular thing is sacred. Like if you're from India and someone offers you a cow, because in India cows are sacred. And if someone offers you a burger, I'm like, no, no, thank you. I don't want any part of that. No. It was like that. Like someone was off to even consider that someone was offering me something No, I didn't even have, no. Hell no. It just wasn't available. And I didn't know. I didn't know that I think looking back, in hindsight, I can see different things now. But um, the way it came to be was when I really started, like, wow, like a sexual urge came from looking at the opposite sex. That had to be when I was 30. Nope, not 30. Okay, let me go back. I got married in 2003. I got divorced in 2009. I got married when I was 20, and I divorced when I was, because that's 6 years. So when I was 26. So I believe the first time I looked at a guy like, wow, I was 25 or 26. Huh. Okay, so I'm 25 or 26. Um, in the military at this point. Actually going, yeah, at the military at this point. And there's somebody else in the military. They don't, I see them. I just see them. And I'm like, whoa. Like, whoa. Like, what is this? It was like a second puberty. Or a third one, actually. Yeah. And I had never looked at a guy like this before. It was something. I mean, it was something. I didn't act on it. I didn't act on it at all. And no idea who this person is today. Like, I'm sure I could find it. I'm sure I could find their name if I really search. I just don't desire to. I didn't pick up the vibe then at all. But they were hot. Like, they were stupid hot. But yeah, so I guess I lost my queer virginity in Texas. Someone came to me after an event, wanted to know um, if they can come to my hotel. I was at the hotel for an event, and I said, sure, I guess so. They're like, what you doing? I'm like, drinking, because I had just filed for divorce, and I'm there, and he comes over, and I'm like, hey. And he asked me what would I do if he kissed me. And I said, mm. And he did. Other things happened. I'll give that in the book. Now that I'll give in the book. Other things happened, and since I had been drinking, I was like, maybe I just needed some, human touch. Maybe I just needed some human touch. Maybe that's just what that was. Maybe I just maybe my body just responded in a sexual way. It doesn't mean I'm gay. It just means something happened. And then it happened again. Then it happened again. But at this state, I could still separate the sex from, I guess, the identity. I could separate it still. And it took a while. It took a very long time for me to even consider that I could even be bi or queer. That took a lot. And why did it take a lot? because I am the eldest of five children, and both of my parents, at least one time in their lives, if not now, are pastors. I grew up in a denomination called Church of God in Christ, which meant Pentecostal holiness. You want to know what the term holy roller, where that term came from? Uh, that would definitely be a synonym of the Church of God in Christ denomination. I often refer to it as being black Amish. My father could not wear shorts. My mother could not wear pants or makeup because you had to look holy and saved and set apart. So I grew up in that tradition very strongly. Very strongly. There are things about that rearing that I will never forget. Ever. Ever forget. And so, because of the types of things that you learn when you're growing up in the 80s in the Church of God in Christ, you just don't. Certain things you're like, this is just not real. And you begin to do your best to pray your own gay away. Yep. I have prayed myself away. Attempted to. More than once. Didn't really work that well, but I did my best. Oh, did I do my best to pray myself away? Yeah. Um, and so I took that information and I kept it. And then I was stationed in El Paso, Texas, still with the military. I was stationed, and by this time, I had learned about apps. Yeah, I had learned about apps. And while I was in El Paso, Texas, I got on an app and I met someone. I met someone. There's that fan again. So I met someone, and I fell in love with a man for the first time. Okay. Okay. I don't mean fall in love like, oh, that's so cute. No. I mean that Jill Scott type of falling in love. I mean, I wrote poems about him falling in love. Like, I dreamed of proposing to him type of love. Like, I fell in love so that I could fall inside of him type of love. I fell in love with him like my grandchildren's lives depended on it. I fell in love I'm remembering. I'm remembering what that love was. If sunsets could play recess. Mm. If sunsets could play recess. That's the kind of love that I had for this individual. And we were never together. To this day, I have never had a boyfriend. I've never had a boyfriend. Ever. But he came close. Oh, he came real close. But you can't be in a relationship by yourself. It sound real sweet, sound real cute depending on the meme, but until you lived it, just can't, baby. You can't be in a relationship by yourself. Oh, it took me more than a year to, more than two, and I consider more than three to really understand that with that individual. But oh, I was in love. And so, because of me falling in love with him, I felt it time to tell the people in my life about me. At that, right then, that moment, I felt like Jay-Z, like, it's, now it's like, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Ho. Oh, like, that came into my mind right then. And so, I did. I began to come out over and over. Okay. Okay, it says I'm live. Okay. I don't know how much that happened because it says it was reconnecting. Something just happened, but the minutes are still the same. Okay. So, yes, I was coming out over and over and over and over again because I felt so enamored, so enthralled, so quenching, bubbly for this person that I just, ah, dreamed about spending the rest of my days with. It was time to tell folks. And so, one of my friends, I call my friends the Vault. I consider them the Vault. And what that means is that my best self, my best things, my most valuable pieces of me that I choose to lend away reside in those individuals that I refer to as my vault. And one person in my vault had a difficult time. She had a difficult time. Poor baby. She had a real difficult time. um, I'm still not quite sure why, but she actually verbalized that she couldn't talk to me for a little while. She had to process it. She had to process it. Of course, the friend that I told you about in the beginning about me telling him that someone he slept with had, HIV. Um, the way I broke it to him, we were at a food truck place, and I was like, I've been thinking about, what my life is gonna look like in the future. And he was like, yeah. I said, yeah. I keep having this idea of me on a beach, and of course, there's a book there. I'm a nerd, or a blurred, which is a black nerd. I guess you can be a queer too, a queer nerd, a queer. Did I just make that up? So I'm a nerd, a blurred, or a queer, or all three. And there's a book there, and there's a person next to me. He says, okay. I said, but there's one thing. He said, what? I said, I don't know if that human is a man or a woman. I just don't know. And so he looked at me. Hey, what you trying to say? I said, I'm not trying to say anything. I'm telling you that I don't know if it's going to be a man or a woman. I just don't know. And he's like, mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I just don't know. So, the coolest story is it was winter around Christmas, like Christmas was coming for sure. And I met another person in the vault at a diner, and I happened to have my son with me. Oh, I'm a dad. At this time, my son is 10. My son's 10. And we're at a diner, and my This best friend doesn't live here anymore. He lives in Texas, a different part of Texas, and he was visiting his family. So, what did we do? We had lunch, I think, and I said, "There's something I've been wanting to tell you, and not quite sure how to tell you." He said, "Okay." I said, "I'm in love with someone." He was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm in love with someone." He said, "Okay." I said, "And he's coming here. I'm bringing him to meet my mother." Oh, yeah, I brought him to meet my mama. And he said, "You did?" I did. So he says, "Okay." I said, "And there's one thing else about this person." He said, "Okay." I said, "It's him." And yep, it was that silent. It went that silent. For a moment in time, it went that silent. And then something I never considered, a possibility that I never thought possible. He got up from his portion of the booth, got up, and then told me to get up. And I embraced myself for anything. He hugged me. Literally. He literally hugged me. And it was a big deal. And here's why it was such a big deal. I am not a stereotypical alpha male. I'm not. And I'm glad that I'm not. It used to cause me issues and struggles and challenges and pain. The fact that I wasn't, and that's because I allowed someone else's preferred perception of me to make me feel that I was wrong. And that was my life growing up. I wasn't really a feminine, but enough. Enough to say something was different with him. Definitely, black boys around the neighborhood, saying that Ace was gay because I wasn't like them. I didn't like sports. Still don't really do sports. I'll go to a game or two, but it's not like my thing. Like, I don't know who number that is. I don't know who got drafted. I really don't, care. Um, at this point in my life, I don't care. So, this particular friend, used to be the person that would take up for me and say things like Ace is not gay, Ace is not this. Like, legitimately stand up for me. And my thinking at that time was, how do I tell someone who stuck their neck out for me about being gay that I really do like guys and I'm in love with one? Like, how do I make all those years standing up for me? It's like I'm making all those years for nothing. Like, you did all of that in vain on my behalf. And it just wrecked me at the thought that I was going to tell him that all of that doing was for nothing. And that's why it took so long. And that's, I believe, why it meant so much to receive that showing of acceptance to me once I told him. That's why it meant as much as it did, as much as it still does. as much as it still does. And because also I understand how there are some people that are alive on earth right now, and a lot of people that are no longer here on earth who never have a story like that, who never ever have someone to just hug them. Yeah, just to hug them. It's really cool though. Yeah, it's really cool. I didn't think that I didn't have a particular ending in mind, but I'm making a choice. Cause like I said, it's after midnight here, where I am, and I am making a choice to end with that feeling because that's what I want. If you are someone that has gotten to this part of the video and you don't feel that acceptance and you don't feel that love, please borrow some of mine. Take however much you need, a cup full, a truckload, a sandbag, like whatever measurement, unit of measurement you need of this acceptance from my memory. Please take it and just know and see it as a possibility. Just see it as a possibility. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't. I didn't. But as my mama say, just keep on living, baby. Just keep on living. So, I'm going to end it with that because I feel good about it. And I believe that being black and queer is not something that has to be fought. It's not something that has to be difficult. It doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be gross. It could be the way I described the guy to you, like sunsets at recess. Mm, I'm glad I made that up in this moment, because that's what it is. Black and queer, to be black and queer, at times is to have sunsets at recess playing on your behalf. Oh, it doesn't have to always look sad and lonely and dark and gloomy and depressing and aligned to feelings of being suicidal. In an instant, you could just pop it back up and just be something entirely amazing, beautifully joyous, spectacular, marvelous. Yeah, black and queer doesn't have to be bad. And I believe that's what I desire to do with this. Offer you a narrative that may be different to what you've already seen. Something that I see a lot in black queer world are a lot of opposites. And maybe not even opposites, but maybe different ends of the spectrum. And there's more than one spectrum, more than two spectrums. So on like one spectrum, you have the very, very closeted black and queer individual. And like everybody knows who they are, but they won't allow themselves to go there. That's real. For one reason or another, that's very real for them. And then you have, on a very, very different end of a spectrum, you have the Kiki lifestyle, The Kiki lifestyle being the fantastically gifted people, humans that, um, you know, slay. They do death drops and give you life and all of those wonderfully wonderful things. And then you have, actually, hmm, I don't see an abundance of anything else. I see either you're kiki or you're closeted. I don't really see a lot of things in the middle. I don't prefer the word balance. I don't. That's also a word that doesn't bring me joy. Um, but I accept all ends of the spectrum. It's like the fact of being black. Like I like being black. Like I like the ratchet part. I really do. I can like throw that ass in a circle. Like I love that song. I really do. And I also love the part about blackness of being in a like fraternity. Yep, I'm in one and two. Um, and I like everything that black church represented back then and now. Still do. I still see a place for black church. I get it. Like I just get it. It's a thing. In America, it's a thing. Um, like HBCUs, historically black college and university. I understand the need for that. And those are different ends of the spectrum of black life. In the same way that I can respect and honor different spectrums of that, I can respect and honor different spectrums of queerness or queerdom. Yeah, and let that all melt in together. I don't have to say, oh, because I'm an intelligent queer person, it means that everyone who's a part of Kiki lifestyle should go away and they're not important and they don't bring value to the struggle. No, I accept all of it. I absolutely adore all of it. There are some really great activists, LGBTQ plus, I'll say that, LGBTQ plus activists that are out there. Love them, love what they're doing. We'll support them as long as we are doing something for an initiative rather than against. I'm always for something. I don't find myself against things because you're still bringing energy to what you don't want. And that makes no sense to me at all. Um, yeah. Yeah, I guess I had some more to say after all. All right, so I'm Asa Leveaux again, Asa Leveaux, writing this book, living this life. Not quite sure what all this is going to mean, but right now we're at 43 minutes and 53 seconds. Like I said, no one's watching this, and I'm just talking. Maybe someone will watch this one day, and you'll know that to be black and queer is a beautiful thing, and that if no one else loves you, Asa does. Yeah, I really do. No, for real. I love you for real. And somebody gives a shit that you exist. And you're needed. You're really needed. You're really, really needed. And I'm glad that you exist. I'm glad you're alive. I'm very glad you're alive. Yeah. Sometimes I wish people would have told me when I was feeling suicidal that they considered being grateful that I was still here on earth. Yeah. So I'm giving to you what I feel like I desired. Yep. So with that, I'll end it. And you guys have a great, I don't want to say great night because you're doing this in the daytime. How can I end this? I hope you find your reason to smile soon. Yep. And I hope that your reason isn't dependent on another person or experience. The smile I have right now is not coming from any particular experience or any particular person. It's really not. And I really dig it. Huh. Remember that church thing? The peace that passeth all understanding. Yep, that you can have the peace that passes all understanding and be black and queer. That's it.